Today, we're going to unsheath the story of a blade that is so much more than just a piece of steel. It's a work of art, forged in fire. It's a symbol of honor, and for centuries, it was considered the very soul of the samurai. This is the story of the katana.
So, let's start with a big question. What actually makes a weapon a work of art? I mean, really think about that. This single question is right at the heart of our explainer today. The katana exists at this perfect intersection of deadly function and just breathtaking beauty, and we're about to find out exactly why.
All right, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with why the katana is such a global icon. Then we'll deconstruct its design piece by piece. After that, we're connecting the blade to the soul of the samurai, uncovering the secrets of its creation, and finally, we'll trace its incredible legacy right into our modern world.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, an iconic sword. I mean, how did a weapon from feudal Japan become this global legend? You can see it anywhere from Tokyo to Paris, and people know exactly what it is.
You know this shape, right? That silhouette? Even if you've never held one, you know it. That distinct curve, it's been etched into our culture, from classic samurai films to the latest video games. It's come to mean so much more than just combat. It stands for precision, for discipline, and for that unyielding warrior spirit.
So, we all recognize the symbol, but now let's get our hands on the object itself. In Section 2, we're diving into the anatomy of a masterpiece. We're going to deconstruct this blade and really appreciate the genius behind its design.
First up, the sori. That's the blade's signature curve. And let me tell you, this isn't just for show. It's a marvel of engineering. This specific curve is what allows for that swift, powerful, drawing cut with just devastating efficiency. It's where lethal function meets perfect form. Now look a little closer at the edge. See that beautiful wavy line? That is the heimin, and it's basically the fingerprint of a genius forging technique. Smiths would coat the blade in a special clay, leaving the edge thin and exposed. When they quench it in water, the edge becomes incredibly hard for sharpness, while the clay-covered spine stays softer, more flexible to absorb shock. The heimin is the beautiful scar that tells that story. And finally, we have the kisaki, the tip. This was no afterthought, trust me. Its geometry was meticulously engineered. It's what gives the sword its piercing power, creating a blade that could slice and thrust with equal, deadly precision. Okay, so we've examined the body of the sword, but what about its spirit? Because a blade is just a piece of steel until it's in a warrior's hands. And that brings us to Section 3, the soul of the samurai. You see, to the samurai, the katana wasn't just a tool. It was an extension of their arm, an extension of their very will. They were guided by the code of Bushido, the way of the warrior. And under that code, the sword was their identity. It signified their rank, their honor, their duty. It was often their most prized and personal possession. As one of Japan's great unifiers, Tokugawa Ieyasu famously said, "The sword is the soul of the samurai." And he didn't mean that as some kind of pretty metaphor. No, this was a core belief. A warrior's spirit was truly thought to reside within that steel. To lose your sword was, quite literally, to lose your soul. So how is an object with so much spiritual weight even created? Well, the answer lies in a process that was almost sacred. So let's enter the forge in Section 4, Forged in Fire. Creating a katana is a ritual. It all starts with this special, notoriously difficult to make steel called tamahagane. The smith then heats, hammers, and folds this steel thousands of times. It was a sacred process meant to purify the metal. Then the clay jacket is applied, setting the stage for the haman. And then comes the moment of truth, the baptism of fire and water, a violent quench that forges the hard edge. But it's not over. Finally, a master polisher spends weeks with the blade, not just sharpening it, but using finer and finer stones to reveal the soul that's hidden in the steel. The age of the samurai has passed into history, but the katana endures. In our final section, A Lasting Legacy, we're going to explore how this blade's story continues and how its very meaning has been reforged by time. This, right here, might be the katana's most incredible transformation. Think about it. A weapon of war has become a symbol of peace. A tool used for conflict is now a revered object of art. And the badge of a specific warrior class has evolved into a proud emblem for an entire nation. Its influence is absolutely everywhere today.
It's a star in movies and anime. Its sleek, functional lines inspire everything from cars to bullet trains. Antique blades are prized by collectors, sometimes fetching millions at auction. And its spirit lives on in martial arts like Kendo and Aikido, where that legacy of discipline is passed on to a new generation.
So, from a weapon of war to a work of art, from a spiritual icon to a cultural touchstone, that is the story of the katana. I'll leave you with one final thought. After centuries of being a silent witness to history, if this sword could speak, what stories would it tell?